The Elite, the lowest rating on their show. Those three guys. What is that starting to tell you? What can those guys possibly do that we haven't already seen?
Oh, you didn't, bro. MJF and Bryan Danielson will compete in the main event at AEW Revolution. Will a name like Danielson from WWE help them boost ratings as the new face of the company, or should they stick with the homegrown star? We will start with EC7.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson has such a reputation that he was strictly a WWE guy to have that negative stigmata. Like, he might not be AEW homegrown, but he is one of the the premier world-class professional wrestler, and everyone knows that from every walk of life. So I think him and MJF can only be great for their business, and it'll probably be that's another great opportunity, I think, for a guy like MJF to take his self to the next level as far as a antagonist and a villain, short of like, I'm rich and F you kind of stuff, where like he can develop what I always thought he should, is like a cold and like sadistic, sociopathic kind of, appearance to truly be a top level heel, as opposed to, we love to boo him, he's a great heel, because I love saying he's like, great. No, you need, if you're gonna be a heel, be up and heel, right?
Yeah. Vince, what do you think about that?
So what exactly is the question, Chris? Like,
do you think that Bryan Danielson, do you think that Danielson at the helm of the company, as the face of the company, do you think that it will boost ratings because he's a WWE guy, at least coming from WWE? Or do you think they should keep the belt on MJF and continue?
Bro, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it matters. I don't think, bro.
You don't think it'll move the needle either way?
Bro, their last show last night, bro, 850,000 people. Their lowest rated show since November over the last. Bro, their audience is what it is. Some weeks a couple more tune in, some weeks a couple more tune out. I don't think that would make any difference whatsoever.
What do you think it takes? What do you think it would take to move the needle for AEW to get them past, the 1.5 million?
Bro, you want to hear something very interesting? A couple of weeks ago, and bro, I said this years and years ago, and EC3, especially you and Chris, I said this years ago, bro. I said with the work style in AEW, what are you guys gonna do when they've seen everything? It's like when you've seen everything that a magician can do. That magician's got no more tricks. Bro, that magician is out of business. Mm-hmm. Bro, do you know a couple of weeks ago, what do they call Omega and the Bucks?
The Elite.
The Elite. The lowest rating on their show. Mm-hmm. Those three guys. What is that starting to tell you? What can those guys possibly do that we haven't already seen, bro? That's the point AEW's getting to, bro. We've seen all this now. So when you ask me, Chris, what's the alternative? The alternative is stories and characters, bro. That's the alternative, man. Not these 15-minute matches with. We've seen it all now. If those guys are drawing the lowest number on the show, the greatest workers on the planet, and Tony Khan isn't looking at that and learning something from it, then whatever happens to him at this point deserves to happen.
Do you think Tony even cares about that, Vince?
No, he does not.
It seems like he doesn't.
He does not.
East, why do you think the ratings have dipped, and what do you think it'll take to rise above the 2 million mark?
I think, let me rephrase the answer for the Bryan Danielson and MJF question. I didn't know it was about the title. No, I'd keep it on the homegrown guy and build around it. I think one thing that is great for ratings is somebody chasing somebody that fans want to see lose. So I'm always in favor of long form heel running the show. And I think it would take, and I don't know this, but I would assume it would take knowing what the bottom is. Like, we know that at our lowest, we are going to have this number. And having then, therefore, some independent thought and courage to try different things to see if that attracts more people, because you know you're going to have this number. You're set there. There's no below this number that we can try to appeal to others as well. And then just, I always said, like, great creative isn't giving people what they want. Great creative is giving people what they didn't know they needed. And MJF versus Bryan Danielson, yeah, if I had a pen and a paper, I'd book that. That's a great match. You know, it's just a lot of like easy to put these dream matches on paper and execute them. But at the same time, what's the reason why we want to see this short of it's a great match? Okay, a great match draws you this number, but a great story and a great investment in character and emotion, that's what's missing.
Yeah. There's no one to really sink their teeth in as far as just the, giving me a reason to come back. I can skip a week of AEW if I know it's just going to be a bunch of, cool high spot matches. I mean, it doesn't really, that doesn't create an episodic feel. It's just, just a bunch of matches. It's cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got some time to watch it this week. Okay, well, yeah, I think I'll skip this week. I don't have time. And it's not really some continuity there as far as an episodic feel.
I feel, I wrote about this in some crazy CYN thing that probably people wanted to murder me for, but I think good match is just a curse. It's almost an insult. It's the same thing as good hand. Like, you're there, you're contributing. I don't think a good match to a wrestling fan draws real emotion.
Right.
A good match is formulaic and it has cool moves and, and there's reversals and false finishes, and that's good. But like, what's great is actually watching something you want to see happen take place as a living, breathing, organism in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
And like, who's next on the up and up too? If MJF is an established heel that people really want to see lose, who's the one to chase him, and who's the one that people would get behind? And how do you get that person out there in front of a more mainstream audience as opposed to whatever else is on TBS and maybe they're on a game show or something? Like, how do you position somebody in this day and age to be someone worth that won't watch wrestling all the time, but they want to see this person who has that magnetic energy, whether it's love, whether it's hate, is it? And I think that's what this industry lacks completely, because even I'm guilty of it, because it takes bravery to go all the way out there and know that no matter what you do, you're going to get a reaction, but a lot of people are going to say it's a bad reaction. But at the same time, you don't care because you so firmly believe in who you are and what you're doing. And you know that even with that reaction that may seem negative and you're getting talked on Twitter and things like that, they're still tuning in to see it. So, like Kanye, for example, before he went all Alex Jones, Kanye had that kind of people hated him and they were always hating his new albums. And you go to his concert and it's sold out. 80,000 people there. It's people are still watching. Yeah,
people are interested in watching. They would pay to see, a car to drive by a car crash. I mean, it's like the car crash effect. It's like, okay, I don't like the fact that there's a car crash there, but I can't keep my eyes off of it. Like, what is going on? I wonder what's happening. So you're still going to be interested in watching it for sure. So, yep, exactly. So it's like, and then you're going to pull your camera out and there's the car crash, So regardless, this still creates interest to see it. I think you brought up a really good point before we close up EC3, as far as the good match kind of complex, syndrome in a sense, because a good match will always appease the house. So you're creating a show for the house is going to leave pleased, but is that this at the sacrifice of the television audience though? And I think you create an issue when you sacrifice the house being pleased at the expense of the television audience. You've got a fraction at the house, you've got a 10% basically at the house compared to the television audience. I think you can appease both, and you can create, you don't always have to compact everything within 2 or 3 hours just to make sure the house goes home happy because everything's compacted in 2 or 3 hours. Okay, give a house what they want, leave them with suspense, because now you're creating and you're developing that suspense for the television audience and for the house to watch it the following week, as opposed to, oh, okay, yeah, I'm with my uncle, I'm with my little cousin, and I'm bringing them to a show, and hey, everything's fine, and we're all fine and dandy and happy, and we're going home happy. So it's a big difference there. So.
A good match is a curse, I think. What a great story. That sells.
It sells. At least
that's the difference. I said this all along, bro. That's the difference between bookers and writers, bro. That's the difference. The bookers, the former wrestlers, you know, the Tony Khans, the Marks, the bookers start with what would be a good match, and then we got to try to make sense out of some story. The writer starts with the story. This is the story, and the story will organically become the match. Yep. That's the difference, bro. That's the difference between a booker and a writer, man.
Yeah, I call the 70-30 rule. It's like, give me 70% outside of the ring and 30% in the ring. Like, I want to see all the story, all the development. Give me all of that, and the ring, you know, action just culminates what the story has already developed. Andre Hogan is just a match booked on Dynamite. Would have had, I mean, come on now, like it would have been just night and day difference as opposed to a months long storyline, pulling the chain, not like this, brother. You know, I'm jealous because, you know, I've been here 15-year undefeated streak as opposed to you having the title for a few years and you get a bigger trophy than I do. And, you know, Bobby Heenan's coming. He, you know, Andre's the likable guy who's won battle royals for 15 years. And all of a sudden he comes in with Heenan, and Hogan's like, wait, what? Hold on, brother. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? You know, pulls the chain, you know, you're not like this. Just imagine if that was just booked on Dynamite for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's such that story effect that creates the perception of, I got to stay tuned in. So it is a big difference.